Hello everyone, Steven, KC3DSO. I have a portable station set up at Rosaryville State Park in the southern part of Prince George's County, Maryland. And I just wanted to go over what I've got going on here. It's a little bit of everything. I've got solar, batteries, portable antennas and masts and stuff like that. So let me go ahead and get started here, and I'll show you a couple quick things. Rosaryville State Park's a beautiful place for setting up. It has a wide open fields for radio stations, and here is my station. I just had to put the tarp up. It was nice all day, then a storm came over, and as you can see, my solar panel's soaking wet. Everything started to get wet here on the back of the tailgate, so I had to quickly throw up a tarp here real fast. I was a little late getting my stuff up and running here for the water protection. One antenna up, an HF antenna that I'm using, and I have a UHF VHF antenna, which I'll go over as well. The antenna I'm using, if you can see it here, is a Soda Beams quad band link dipole. They call it the band hopper. This one does 4 bands. It'll do 20, 30, 40, and 80, and it covers everything I really enjoy playing with. I like 30 during the day for digital, and of course your 20 and 40 for phone, and then of course 80 for phone and the digital stuff. So it covers everything I want to do. The antenna itself weighs probably about 2.5 pounds, and it comes complete with about I think it's about 30 feet or so of probably about 30 feet of cable or so. And it's a real 174. It's a real small stuff, but it works just fine for HF. Now I've got it staked out there on the end, and the feed point here is probably about 20 feet off the ground, a little less. And then the other leg comes out this way. Right now I've got it set to 10 meters, and the SWR is about at 10.1 or something I'm using for WinLink. The SWR is 1.4. It could be better if it's a little higher in the air and if I mess with the feed line, but that's pretty fine. It's good. I hit the tuner and there's really not much loss of anything. So this pretty slick little antenna, the winders on it are pretty neat, but the way you work it is you simply unclip the band section. So this is 80 here, if you would, which is unclipped now, and I was playing on 40 earlier. So and now it's unclipped here. So this is all together, that's 20, and this comes 30. It's unclipped here, so this is now a 30-meter dipole. And if I were to clip it down there, it becomes 40. No, sorry, if I were to clip it there, it becomes 40. If I were to clip it there, it becomes 80. So it's really a neat little thing. This mast is not anything you'd buy at any amateur radio store. It's actually a crappy pole you get from Walmart for about 20 bucks. And as you can see, it does the job. It has a little bit of bow at the top, probably more than the others, but it's a fraction of the cost. I have several other fiberglass masts. One of them's in the front of the truck holding up the VHF, UHF antenna, and I'll go through that here in just a minute. But all I did was you stake out the two ends, the two legs, you have the pole extended on the ground, and then all you do is just lift it up, it tauts the two ends, and then you just pull it until it's up to where you want it to be. So a little higher would probably be good. I think 20 to 25 feet is traditionally what I do. I have a mast system I put on the front of my truck, and that works very well, the military mast, and I'll go through the mast thing on the front of the truck there. And that's generally what I use, but this I wanted to try out here in the park, and it goes up really simply. It's an easy, simple MCOM antenna. I think what I should have done probably when I deployed it, maybe add another 10 or 12 feet, probably would have been good. That's the HF antenna, and this of course is the cabling. It's really small, I think it's 174 or something, and it terminates in a BNC. So most likely you're going to need, unless you're doing QRP stuff with the little BNC rigs, the 17 and 18s, you're going to need a couple of adapters there to make it work with your rigs. So let me go up here and do the other antennas. Actually, the only other one I've got a really nice one of those Aero dual band Yagis that I use for MCOM work as well. So what I've got here is one of the MFJ fiberglass masts roll-up J-poles, but that's one of the ones from, I think it's N9TAX I bought. And I wanted to try it, and it works okay. I haven't tested the SWRs on it with my one of the Comet analyzers, and I will hit it up there before I finish here. But long story short is it's got a good bit of coax on it, which in many cases I don't have to carry anything extra, so that is kind of handy to do. But this is the my antenna mast system that I use on the, and it's always here, set up, ready to go. This is 2 pieces of 2-inch PVC. I can drop just about anything inside of these, and it's ready to go. I don't bother with a faceplate. To use this type of system with this MSJ fiberglass, I don't want to tighten these U-bolts up on the fiberglass, so what I do is I drop the PVC pipe around it so I can make it as snug as I want and it won't go anywhere. I've never had a problem with this. And these will hold the military mast sets. This is my rotating mast that I use for my military, the aluminum mast sets. I wanted to be able to put an antenna on the end of it and literally walk it up. Trying to get something on top of it is a bit of a challenge unless you have one of the tripod adapters, which do work well. But this saves me a lot of real estate. I don't have to set up the mast section, the support section on the bottom. So the way this works is simple. This is just a rotating trailer jack, tongue jack. I got this from Harbor Freight. It runs about I think $12 on sale, and all I did was I just hollowed out the inside of it. And of course I just take this off when I need to when I'm using it. And all I do is just pull the latch, rotate it, and I take the mast that's out, you know, would be out here, and all I do is just stick it inside the hole and then just walk the mast up and it locks into place. It's a very nice, I really haven't had to guy anything with it. I suspect anything over maybe 30 feet you may want to guy something with it, and I've got the rings and everything. I've got the full kit for it. But so that's the VHF antenna setup. It's real simple. The cable coming out of it I think is about 10 feet or so. Dual 16 BNCM. There's a serial number for it there. But this works pretty good. I put it on a little piece of I think this is LMR something here, and I think it's about 16 feet, and that goes right into the back of the Go box, which I'll show you here in a couple of minutes. Now the power, I am using a battery box. To power the battery box is this solar film 1600. It's a 120 watt panel, and this is just one of the ways you can deploy it. Oftentimes I'll just stick it on top of the rack, the ladder rack on the top of the truck to keep it up off the ground, make sure people don't step on it and things. But you can just throw it on the ground and hook it up if you don't have the risk of people walking around and dinging it at all. My understanding is this is tested by the military. You can actually shoot through one of the panels and it still work. Not like I'm going to give that a go, but anyway, so you know, you could deploy it like this and use it like a an awning if you wanted to. A little better thought here in hanging it up. I just wanted to point it up this way towards the sun and have it come back to get as much light as possible. What I should do is dry the panel off. It'd probably work even better. So this is running into the truck, and I'll show you the battery box here in just a minute. I had to, now the sun's coming out real nice. I had to put this this is called a hex fly up real quick as the rain was coming down. These are 2 old photo tripods. They're actually photo light stands that I used to have a company for years ago, and they have been repurposed and they work very well. In fact, I've got one of the buddy pole mast sections actually will fit inside of one of inside the top of these. There's a little bit of emery cloth work on it, but it goes up about 20 feet, and this goes up I think an extra 8 feet if I just release the handle and let it go. So it's they've become very handy little devices that I keep thrown in the back of my truck for the station. So let me go ahead and show you the box here, and the Go box and the power box that I'm using that I've made a couple of changes with. So this is the battery box I'm using today. I have 2 of these. This is the larger of the 2 because I'm running the entire Go box off of it, and that includes the laptop, the 2 radios, signal link. It's soon to be a Pactor modem. I'm going to switch it out, and I'll show you how I do that pretty simply. And whatever else is in the box, the USB hub and everything else, all the other superfluous stuff. But Well, let me go ahead and get into this thing. So this is the box made by PowerWorks. I have two of these. This is the Mega Box. I've added a couple of things to it. So if you look online, it's not the same. Obviously a little sticker. But on the top of it, you'll see it's slightly different. I've added an additional set of binding posts. And I've put an extra set of power poles adapters. And what these are for is these go to the output on the EPIC power gate that's inside the box. These come directly off the battery load connector. So these are off the EPIC, these are off the battery load connector. Now, you know, I'm not sure the good and the bad. I think the higher amperage ones are going to come off of the directly off the battery. The battery inside of this is a 70 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery, a LIFEPO4 battery. It's 70 amp hour, so it lasts for many hours, especially when there's power coming in off of this. I always keep it charged, and I'll show you the EPIC power gate here in just a minute. The EPIC power gate is showing it's just trickle charging the battery, and I've already made a couple of connects here. Like I said, I just got the box put up, but I'll go through a couple of VARA things, and we'll hook up the Pactor modem and even do some Packet stuff here in just a bit. The only power cable going into the box at this point in time is this. Here's the AC cable here. So this is just one of the I think these are, this is probably a 30 amp this is, I think, 12 gauge wire here, maybe 10. I think it's 12. And these two, like I said, run directly off of the load off of the battery. Do the binding posts and this switched panel. These are not switched. This panel is switched. And it's a 15 amp breaker. Power comes on. If you can see that, it says 13.3, which is kind of neat. You can see it without even opening up the cap. But once you open it up, the cap, it gets a lot brighter. This has a Type C USB rapid charger and the QC30 charging capabilities on them, and which is kind of nice if you have those devices. These are just standard USB ports here, and they're I think it's, I can't turn my glass on. I think it's 4 amp. 4.8, and this one, of course, is just a simple cigarette lighter outlet. But you don't need these on. Voltage really is kind of a information for LIFEPO4 batteries. Really, what you want to know is amp hours used and keep track of that. So I'll show you how I do that inside. The outside of the box, I've added a couple of other things. Because I have the EPIC power gate right here on the inside, I have a couple of connections here that I use to run into the EPIC power gate. This way I don't have to open the box. Of course, as you can see, one of them is solar. I want to change this to green, which I don't have any. I just ordered some. But I can't change this, the outlet. These come directly from PowerWorks, and I can't fix those. At least I don't know how to. And of course, you have the input for the power supply. The power supply allows you to use it basically like a big UPS. It'll charge the battery, and you can run all your devices off it at the same time, which is kind of neat. In fact, a lot of people are buying these, installing them in their houses, and they're using them for emergency communications when their power goes out. And this way, when they decide to set up a portable station or have to go do MCOM work, they simply just unplug it and take it with them, and they have a fully charged battery system that's constantly being charged, trickle charged if need be. So it makes it double, triple use you can get out of these things. You can also charge this from inside of your car. I've got my extension cables here. I've got my rig runner mounted on the front. You can probably see the green light there, and that runs with 8 gauge cable to one of the batteries on the front of my truck. And I can run my station, which I do intermittently, on the back of the desk there. So this little box, it's not cheap, but I drilled in, like I said, a couple things here, and it's wired inside. There's really nothing on the back except for something that is a little bit unusual. And this, of course, is a strobe light. Now, this is one of my small pet peeves. Now, it's pretty bright. It's obnoxious. And you can change the pattern on it and flick it here, and you know, back and forth. And this is what they call the work light. And this is my one thing I really don't like about this is when you're working on stuff, especially colored items, the yellow light is always on with the white. I wish it was just the white that was on. And you could probably hook up a switch, and at this point, when it's on this stage, turn that side off. and I'll show you the inside of the box here in just a minute. But other than that, it's pretty neat. You know, it'll do all sorts of stuff for you. You know, it's you can set it up on the back of your car, and or people were going to find you in a crowd or something, or so it's got a use there, and it works pretty good. I'm cycling through all the options here so you can see what they are. And there we go. I think there's a couple left. Oh, maybe more than that. Oh, and there's the work light back. And this is generally where I keep it. You really don't need a... Oh, there is stuff, but it doesn't take much power. I mean, it's LEDs and it runs pretty good. There's nothing else here. The only other thing I'm going to put here, which I'm waiting for to come from Sichuan, China, is a external USB connector. The power gate, the Epic power gate, has the ability for you to read the data on a laptop. The charging, how much is being used, and a bunch of information. Now, the Epic power gate I have installed here, I have it set by jumpers. You can choose not to put the jumpers in and set it with the USB port. But when I set it up, I did just do the jumpers, and I may go back and mess with it, but I put the jumpers because it's a lithium iron phosphate battery. I put it obviously on lithium iron, and it's a 70 amp hour battery, and a 10 amp charge is perfectly okay. So that's the way I set it with the jumpers inside. But you can set it to battery type, and anything is anywhere from 1 to 10 amps. It's all online. There's me regurgitating the stuff that's there, but it's a nice box. It's $180. I can see buying that and not buying the regular charger for the battery. If you do decide to get one of these batteries, Biano and a lot of the other companies sell an external charger for it, and you could use the Epic gate for it and survive just fine. So you may be able to save yourself $30, $35, $50 depending upon which charger and battery set you end up buying, and you could knock off a little bit of money savings considerably for the Epic power gate. So let me show you the inside of the box here. This is about the size of a Fat 50 cal box. It's pretty sturdy. It's well made. I mean, I can't argue with it. It's got padlock options, 2 nice latches here. Now the inside of it's busy, and I'm going to tell you why. So, but first off, these are the ones that I added here on the top. This is the dual power pole outlet on the top, and this is the binding post. They're all connected here, and they go directly here into the power gate. So here is the LEDs. This is just a bunch of cables. I keep extra cables in case I have to do something, an extra 12-volt cables, a small inverter, the barrel connector, the 12-volt barrel connectors, a T adapter. These are the things that you may run across somewhere in the field and need them. So I do keep them inside the box. Let me get this out of the way. There's an extra meter. Now, I do have the PowerWorks meter on here, and this tells me the outbound amperage. It'll also tell me the voltage of the battery, and it's 1333. How many watts are out. This one will go through how many amp hours have been used. If I can see it here, 60, what did it say? Oh shoot, I don't have my glasses on. Amp hours. 63. So, and then this is hooked up directly to the solar panel coming in. It says about 3 amp hours have been put in, have gone through the system, and it's showing a 1334. Now, if I don't hook up a charge controller, you got to have a charge controller on this thing. If I hooked up my meter to it, which I failed to bring, in full sunlight, this will dump almost 20 volts, which is not good. So you got to have it going through a charge controller. So here is the Epic power gate here. Now, as you can see, I'm not going to pull this out completely. It's not mounted in here because I'm not 100% sure of where I want to put everything. It's probably just going to be double-sided tape and some Velcro on the bottom, but there's so much stuff in there, it keeps everything from moving. But this is the power gate, and as you can see, it's got solar coming in. The battery is flashing with a periodic flicker, and if you look at the chart, periodic flicker, battery is trickle charging. So fully charged, ready to go, and this comes with, of course, the power gate here. So you can see your status of your system at any time. And this actually is pretty neat. I'm going to, like I said, I just want to maybe reorganize it a little bit, but the battery takes up so much space, you don't have a whole lot of room here to do things. But it's well made. It's a nice gasket. It rained on it earlier, and I got rain all over the top of it before I had a chance to get the tarp up, and there's nothing happened to it. I dried it off when I could. These are not, I would say, waterproof. I'd say maybe they're a little water resistant at best. But this meter, this battery has the it's over here, but this uses the SB50 out. So these are rather large connectors, and I don't have the device for crimping these, so I ordered the cables that I needed with that connector directly from PowerWorks instead of buying another crimper. I made all the other cables, all the ones for this and everything else, for the power gate, which are really simple to do with the kits that you can buy nowadays. So that's the box. The box, I think the battery itself weighs about 22 pounds, 23 pounds, and I will weigh the box, and I'll put the information on the attach it to the bottom of the video there so everybody can see it. But that's pretty much the box. It's going pretty good here. The reason why this is showing is because this cable, this meter has always been hooked up. That's why it's showing at 64. Normally at 64 I'd cut it off at a 70 because it's a 70 amp hour battery. They say about 80 to 90%. So this is showing everything that I have used since I hooked up the meter, and it's been charged several times since I hooked the meter up, and I should have unplugged it and plugged it back in again to get a correct reading on it, but I forgot to do that when I left the house. So it's a little high. They say some folks even say 100%, and I you know, that to me that would probably knock off the charge cycle, the number of charge cycles. I think this is at DOD at 50% discharge. I think you're looking at up to 5,000 recharge cycles. If you can hit if you go to 80%, I think 80 to 90%, it drops to, I think, 2,500 or 3,000. So just let your conscience be your guide, but I want to get the most out of the battery. But so hooking up to the solar panels here, and it works pretty good. There's no problem with it. I can run the bloody thing all day. I did hook this up at my house, the exact same kit that I've got here, the exact same station that I've had at my house with this box, and it ran for 24, almost 24 hours, about 22 hours. For the 7 hours I was sleeping, there was no activity. There's no transmit activity. It was receiving stuff all the time, but there was no transmit activity. On my waking time when I was down there, I made a point to get on and send packet data and to do one more VARA or Pactor at least 4 times an hour, trying to simulate some kind of traffic. Now the Go kit, which I'll go over here in a minute, the FT-857 is only running at about 50 watts for all my digital stuff. I did no phone work during the test. The Kenwood TM-D710, this is a really nice MCOM radio, dual band, Packet. It's got a TNC built into it. So that was running, depending upon which station I was hitting, anywhere from 10 to 50 watts to do the packet data. And I was using that one on voice a little bit on several of the repeaters around the area. But it works pretty good. I've been very happy with this box. I've made a few changes. I have a bunch of other videos on the Go box. You can poke around and look at it. There's a couple of small minor changes that I've done since then, which I will go into here when I get into the back of the radio. But just if this is your first video, let me just go over the box real quick. First, the laptop is a Panasonic CF30. It runs great for MCOM. I have another this is a CF53. My other one's a CF30, and that still runs like a top. It's got Win 7 on it. This has got 10 on it. The heart of the system for HF is, of course, the FT-857D. This has been a fantastic radio, no matter how you look at it. It does FM, just about anything you'd want to do. Sideband, multiband, multi-mode. Just a control head here. The radio is actually buried in the back. The same thing with the D710G. This is the 12-volt port that I'm using to work the laptop off of. This is the D710G. It's got a packet data, GPS, all that other stuff in it. APRS. It's just a fantastic MCOM radio. External meter. My old eyes rather, are not that good anymore, so I have an external meter. Speakers for both, one for each. Signal link is here in the middle, and of course an MFJ power supply. This is the MVP model, which has the dual power pole jacks in the back. This has been a good little power supply. It's small, compact. My understanding is MFJ actually doesn't make it, but nonetheless it's been very reliable. I've had zero issues with it. I've been very happy with it. But this is the heart of the system, and you can see it's on 10 meters now, 10141, and I'll do a quick VARA connection here for you before I hook up the Pactor modem, and I'm going to show you what the whole thing was with that. Here's my WinLink Express. I got on VARA. Let's get up to a couple of things. Get the TNC, and let's get the session window open as well. And we'll pull that up here, here, and here. So, as you can see, it successfully connected the VARA TNC. Obviously, it's here. And it's using a Yaesu FT-857 COM 124800 baud. And it's ready to go. So, I created a quick message here, and I'm going to turn the volume up. Let's see what we've got here. Once it becomes unbusy, to WD4 Whiskey Delta 4 Sierra Echo November, and they're a few hundred miles away from me. SIDS is free, so here we go. Oh, now they're transmitting again. Oh, there he goes. So he just answered me. There we go. He's 674 miles, bearing 206. Now this is the registered version of VARA. I paid the $60 or $70 for it, so it's an unlimited throughput version of the software. So I have 116 minutes. Oh, I should show you the waterfall here too, huh? So it's transmitting. So now it's sending. And we're going to see, because I'm sending, it's going to go from left, the green bar is going to go from left to right. And if you're receiving, it goes from right to left. Now, this is not a big message. It was just a test thing. I think I sent it to one of my SMTP email addresses. So, there we go. That was pretty uneventful. That's normal stuff for it. Let me turn this back down a little bit. What I've got going on here, turn the volume down just a bit here, get a little interference. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and run a quick packet using a D710. This is on a 2-meter station. The station is about 30 miles away from me, that direction. I think WinLink has the station at about 27, 28 miles or so. And of course that's in the middle of the grid square, so it's not precise by any stretch of imagination. But he's in Rockville, Maryland, and I'm in Rosaryville, Maryland, and we're going to do this on low power, which is 5 watts. and we're going to see how well this this works for us. I just formatted a message on my iPhone just so I have something to pick up when I connect to the station there. So let's go ahead over to it. Here's the session window. Whoop. And there's this call sign there. It's initialize the radio just fine. I had to go through a quick change. I had this on my D72 when I was doing some testing for another station there, and I had to redo the setup here to tell it which COM port and radio. But long story short, we got it all done, ready to roll. His call sign's in there. It's a WinLink message, not a peer-to-peer message. This lets you switch to peer-to-peer. So that's one of the most common problems with WinLink, is that when people try to they format the message as peer-to-peer and they go to send it, and they're using WinLink and they can't figure out why it's not sending, or the other way around. They're trying to do a peer-to-peer, but they fail to format the message as a peer-to-peer message. So WinLink thinks you want to go through the WinLink CMS system, and it doesn't go. So that's probably the number one problem. But anyway, let's go here. I got to set up to WinLink, and we're going to go ahead and do a quick connection here. Let me turn this up a little. You like to hear that noise. See, connected. Now this is with 5 watts. A little under 30 miles away, and there's a lot of stuff between Rockville and me. So this is, I got a pretty good signal path going in there. And like I said, this is just 5 watts, which is the lowest the radio will do. My message should be there waiting for me to come back. So I did it probably about 2 minutes ago. If it went through my iPhone, I'm not in a good spot for self-service here. So let's see how this works. Oh, I got disconnected. Let's try this again here. I may have to give it just a little bit more juice. I was kind of surprised at the 5 watt thing. But let's do it again here and let's see what we can get. Or I'll just hit another station nearby. Nope, we're calling him and he doesn't want to answer. So let's move it up. Oh, well, there he goes. I think I may just go ahead and bump him up to 10 watts. And let's see what we got here. That's medium. Let's see what we got here. Most of the time when these things won't connect, it's because of signal. The bulk of the time, if you're transmitting, very often it's because of a signal issue here. So, nope, he's having some issues there. I'm not quite going through, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this. There we go. And I'm going to try it again from start at 10 watts, and let's see what we can get out of this. What you need to try to remember here is whenever you're in an NCOM environment, you're running off solar and batteries, you should always use the absolute minimum amount of power. So if I can get it at 5 watts, you save your battery for a longer period of operating time. With the D710, there's many things you can do to save power. Turn off the GPS. If you're not using the TNC, you can turn it off. You could turn off half the display to save yourself some power. So these are the things you need to look at when you're running in an NCOM environment and you're out in the boonies somewhere. Now, I could always run off of my truck if I wanted to, but that's not the whole reason for this exercise here for me. So let's go ahead and redo this again. And let me see if I can get him in there. Well, let's look at one thing. Nope. Now I should be checking the server for my message, which is, like I said, I just sent a quick one through my Gmail account. And when it's going to be receiving, it's going to go from right to left, the bar, the green bar here. Yep, there it is. Oh, it's going to give me my little window. And this is an important window. If you're out doing stuff in an MCOM environment and you get weather messages or routine stuff about check-ins and stuff like that, that's the last time you want to start dealing with a bunch of messages like that and waste time. See, it was pretty quick. It was a small message. That's not the place you want to be to download a whole bunch of stuff you don't need for the incident you're in. So what a lot of people do is they practice connection through telnet before you leave your house, before you deploy. If you're in a facility that may or may not have internet, I mean, probably they don't, because that's probably why you're there, or you're out somewhere and you're unable to get any kind of wireless activity. So you go to connect to, you get out in the field, set up your station, and this has happened to me on several times. I've been out camping out in West Virginia, and I'm doing Winmore, and it's chugga, 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 and there's a slew of messages from stuff that's I really don't care about at that particular time. But the thing is just dragging, and I'm running a portable station running off of a different battery box, which is in the back. It's a 20 amp hour box, and it had a smaller set of solar panels. So, you know, it's and I was going to be there for 5 days. So anyway, long story short, that box is important because what it allows you to do is choose which messages you want to download. So when you're in an MCOM environment, the best thing to do is be consistent with your group. Be very good with the subject lines, because if you can write in the subject line, you know, if you just write exercise, if you just write incident, if you just write weather, you know, you don't know what that's related to. So what you want to do is be, you know, a little bit more descriptive so you can make a good decision on which messages to download. So anyway, that went through fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to 20 meters, and I think I'm going to try talking to a friend of mine that's in Delaware. So what I have done is I have taken my dipole here, and I've unclipped the section. It's probably hard for you to see. Let me grab the antenna, and that's what's nice about this pole. Is it's so flexible that I can just grab the antenna cable here. Let me see if I can put the screen up, and I can follow this right on down. So, you know, here is the 30, which changes it to 20 to 30, and here is the, I'm sorry, that changes it from 30 to 40. Here is the other one. Here it's a little ways up, but you see I can pull this down and change it, and that's really nice about this. And it's flexing a little bit, but I'll let it go with just slight amount of tension on it. I don't want it to wang, you know. So this is unclipped, so this is now a 20 meter dipole, and if I were to follow this down, and if I were to clip here, this would make it a with that one clipped, whoops, it just popped out of my hand when I was trying to show you something. This would change it to 30, and then down here would, sorry, that one there would make it, if that's unclipped, it's 20. If it's clipped, it then becomes a 30. If this is clipped, it becomes 40. If that one's clipped, it becomes 80. So this is really simple for me to do. So let me, I just hooked the antenna up to my analyzer, and there's a Nevada QSO party going on, so I don't know if we're going to find something free here, but let me show you what this is showing me. I got the case on here, and it's showing just about 50 ohms, and it's at basically 250, and I think the SWR is right there, it's 1.3, if you can see it in here, which is kind of pretty good. So let me just do a quick band sweep. Now I should have done this with the other ones, and I didn't even think about this. I'm trying to do 6 or 8 things at one time here. So let me do a quick band sweep, the center sweep, and you can see how well this thing does here. So it's going to start right below the 20 meter band, and look at it dipping there. It's looking pretty good. It's going to go right on up to 350 or so. Sorry for the movement, I'm trying to hold it steady here. So that's a pretty good little dip there. I mean, that's pretty nice. I think I'd take that any day. I don't even need a tuner, but the tuner's in line. As you can see here, it's an LDJ LT YT100, and it's in line. So you could push it once and do some finagling and get it out of line, and you know, I just leave it in and just do a quick tap on it, and it goes. I really need to pull the book out and see how I just take it out of line. I think it's 2 quick pushes or something, I don't remember, but that's the only thing I don't like about that tuner, is it doesn't give you a lot of feedback, a couple of meters, and you know, maybe a couple of different antennas and things like that. But it is what it is. It works very well. I've been very happy with it. In fact, I've been so happy with it, I have 2 other LDG tuners. I have another one in here, my go bag. I'm sorry, not a go bag, a little bag that I use for doing very portable stuff up in the woods and things, and that's got an FT-891, and it also has one of the LDG tuners that runs off of batteries. So it's been very happy with it. It's been very nice. So this is good. I'm going to go ahead and hook this back up, and I'm going to text my friend, and I'll make a quick QSO with him, and we'll see how well the signal is. Like I said, there's a QSO party, Nevada's QSO party on, so we'll have to live with what goes there. And I don't want to keep the guy too long, so let me do that. And then what I'll do is I'll run around back here. I'll show you the back of the box and how I change the system here, the cabling, for a Pactor modem, which takes literally 3 minutes to do. And Pactor is still king. VARA's nice. For the price, it's hard to beat VARA, but for the bottom line, you got to get it through, and so on and so forth. Pactor is still king, and without a doubt. So let me go ahead and get this cable hooked back up, and I'll get my friend on the line, and I'll be right back.
Yuma, YMA.
At a QSO party, so I'm going to try to get over this guy in Yuma.
Take it, Kilo 7 Lima.
Kilo Charlie 3 Delta Sierra Oscar Portable.
Kilo Charlie 3 Delta Sugar Oscar Portable. 59 Arizona, Yuma, YMA.
QSL, you are 59 Maryland, Rosaryville, Maryland. Excellent audio. Thank you for the QSO, sir.
Audio sounds good.
That worked okay. He gave me a 59 in Yuma.
Arizona, Yuma, YMA.
Now that QSO with the guy in Yuma I was running, I did turn it up to 100 watts. I think I probably could have dropped it down a bit. In fact, once I get a hold of my friend in Delaware, I'll see if I can reduce the power and see where he can still hear me here. November 3, X-Ray Kilo Juliet. November 3, X-Ray Kilo Juliet from Kilo Charlie 3 Delta Sierra Oscar. N3 XKJ from KC3 DSO in Maryland.
3XKJ, I'm just starting to get some interference on one of the frequencies on either side of it, so don't know how much longer. I think they've got more QSO parties going on.
I'm back. Let me show you the back of this box. I have a bunch of videos out there on this box, so I'm not going to rehash the old stuff, but just a couple of new things that I've done. First thing is this is the serial cable for the Packet, and what I've done now is I neglected to throw it in my bag, is I now have a single USB solution. It plugs into the USB port just like these do, and it plugs into both the D710's TNC and the D710 programming if needed. What I did is, instead of running a single cable, I ran two cables, one to the TNC port, which is this one, and one to the programming port. Trying to get in there and do another one is a nightmare. So the new item I got was a single USB port. It's made by Gizmo. It's a USB 2.0, and it runs like a top. It's an FT-DI chipset, lights and everything, shows data transfer, and it's really kind of a nice feedback device as well to know that something is going through if you're trying to diagnose a problem. Audio, I ran the audio jacks here. I ran a couple of extensions. These are the speakers that are plugged in. This one's for the, if I can get this up top, this one is for the D710. This is for the 857. So if I want to run headset, all I do is pop it off, plug in the headset, and I'm good to go. No fuss, no muss. 3 outputs for the antennas, 2 for the 857D and 1 for the 710. Here is my grounding, which I did not use. So my situation has been is this. I have a signal link inside, which of course I was using earlier for VARA and everything else. There it is there. And I want to be able to hook up a Pactor modem. So this is the AC cable. Let me get this out of the way. So this is what I did. I just ran a simple male to female extension cable from the 6-pin data port of the 857D, and it runs to here. This is actually the signal link cable coming out of the back of the signal link. So when I want to run the Pactor, all I do is unplug it, plug the Pactor modem into this cable, and I use this, the barrel connector, the DC barrel connector, the 55 by 21 barrel connector, plug it into the Pactor modem, and then a serial cable to the either off of the double one that I just mentioned with this USB port, or this cable here if I'm not doing Packet, and I'm done. I've got it up and running. So let me go ahead and get that, and I'm going to hook that up real quick, and I'll send some email to somebody for something somewhere. So hang on 1 minute and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got the modem, and I use simple pistol cases for storing my components. I've got, as you can see, I've got several of these. There's a couple more inside. One holds my 891, one holds the tuner, another one does a KPC, and some accessories, and this one holds the Pactor. So let's go ahead and get this out here. So here, and this is one of the little ones. It would easily fit into the Go box. It's the 2EX. It's an older one, but it's got a Pactor P3 license on it, and it's pretty small. USB port. They have the one that, of course, it's all a serial port. They have the new ones that are USB. So all you need to hook this up is a serial cable, the audio cable, and of course power. So let's go ahead and get going with that. So I've got this. The audio cable is here, and I got this right from Farallon, the audio cable, and I think it's about 30 bucks or so. I don't need much room here. So that plugs in like that. Power goes into there. There, that's in, that's in. I'm trying to do this with one hand, so now I'm going to disconnect the signal link, and I'm going to plug in this, which is the Pactor, in like that. So that's in. So all I got to do, this should come right on. I'm trying to do this one hand, and I apologize for that. So we're going to hit the power. Yep, we're set. So let's see what we can do here. Now this is really a P3 box, the lighting situation on it. So as you can see, the left one, left side is red. On the right side here is red, and the inside green. So when the light turns red, it's Pactor 1. When it's green, it's Pactor 2. But when it goes back and forth, it's Pactor 3. The other one I have at my house is a much larger one, but it actually has a digital display that shows you the station you're trying to connect to, the mode, the Pactor mode, and some other stuff. So let's go ahead and get this going. Since I've already got the antenna set up on 80, we're going to try to do that. Whoops. So there, and we got this, and we've got a Packet thing here running, which we're gonna kick to the curb. We're gonna do one more, our Pactor WinLink. We're gonna do open session, and this thing should initialize. Oh, I gotta do the serial cable. Yeah. So I'm just gonna take it off the 710 here. Oh, there's my buddy. So let me do this. And that. So it's going to reinitialize. And it just did. It went right through. Alright, so I got the Pactor modem hooked up. It's got the 3 connections, which is just the power, audio cable to the radio, and the serial cable. Serial cable is running into COM1, which is a physical COM port on the laptop. This is, let me get this out of the way here. And audio cable, of course, is just the extension that I mentioned, and just the power. I just plug in the 12-volt power pole on one end and over to the barrel connector on the other. Power switch on the back. If you can see that, the modem is happy. It's saying, I'm waiting, let me do something. Radio is, of course, the WinLink is controlling the radio, so it changes to 5393, which is, let me turn this thing off. It's kind of bright there. So 5393 is our dial frequency. So what I did is I just did a quick message, so it's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and try to connect to Kilo Charlie 2 Hotel Kilo Uniform, and let's see how this works. This is Pactor WinLink, and you can change this a little bit for radio only and peer-to-peer. Since it's a Pactor setup, we used to have to do it through here. So let's go ahead and see what we can get out of this. Oh, there it goes. 350 miles. This is going to be a quickie because this is, let's show you the thing here. See, so now it's flashing green and red, which means it's a P3 connection. See, now we're connected. Welcome to the KC2 HKU tri-mode problems Gmail. So it's going to go right through. This is very reliable with the Pactor stuff. So there we go. There's the send indication. It's got there it goes. I need just a couple quick 2 and 3 line messages here to go to my Gmail account. It's unlikely I have any mail waiting for me, but who knows. WinLink will always default to outbound first, and then it will go to inbound after that. So it always does outbound first when you connect. There's my CW, and there's his CW, and we're done. So I reduced this down to 50 watts, which is usually what I do. If you hit function, it pops right up there. So I dropped it to 50 watts. I was doing 100 watts when I was playing earlier, talking to people. So this is this works pretty good. This is a Go box that, like I said, I've had it for a few years. The first one I ever made, and I really haven't changed anything on it. It's a 4U, so it's reasonable in size. It weighs about 45 pounds. There's no battery inside of it. There used to be. I used to have an SLA battery in it, and I never used it. These boxes just tend to be a better option, in my opinion, because I can not only use them for the Go box, I also use these for camping. When I go to a campsite, I can use it to run lights, recharge my GPS, my phone, you know, yada yada yada. So even if you're not doing this, you have another option for it. A couple of uses out of it. So but that's pretty much the station. It's been raining off and on all day, and there's just a beautiful park out here. I'm the only one out here again, I guess because of the rain scared people away, so I had to throw up a tarp here. A couple of weights bags I got off eBay. I just filled them up with some rocks. They just seem to be the simplest thing to do. Oh, we'll take a quick look on the solar panels there. We'll punch that up and see what they're doing. And this is again the roll-up J pole there at the top, and I was doing Packet about 28 miles, I think, or so it was from here up into Rockville, and I'm down the southern part of Prince George's County here. So and that's pretty much it. So I know it's a long video. I had a lot of stuff to go through. I'm gonna sit down. I try to chop out what I thought I could and still come up with a reasonable video. I try to do radio stuff, setting up a station, a full station out away from home, at least once a month, and I see that as something that just, you know, it hones your skills. It allows you to, when you have to deploy somewhere, you can set something up pretty much effortlessly wherever you are, and that's important to be able to operate for Aries. And I'm a member of an Aries group here just outside DC. So well, that's it for me, and I'm gonna I may play on the radio a little bit more since I got it hooked up, and then I'm gonna head home and get some snacks. It's probably near 5 o'clock now, and it's gonna be getting dark on me in a little bit, and I want to get stuff put away before it does. Well, thanks for watching, and have a great evening.